Asking questions. Comprehension Strategy Showcase. Susan Burton. ED. Questions start the thinking process. Asking questions for reading comprehension. In our book, it says, teaching students to ask themselves questions and look for answers helps in both building and monitoring comprehension. In a story, asking questions of a text can serve as an organizational guide to the story structure, promote active reading, and help students identify important information. In informational text, asking oneself questions about the text being read is a particularly useful strategy for learning technical information. Recognizing story structure. The story structure can be taught to students by asking and answering questions. This is a story map, which is a form of a graphic organizer. This can be a great tool, especially visual tool, to teach students this structure. If we took a popular story about this time, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and we said, let's put that title in there, let's talk about it. The setting would be the North Pole. The characters would be Rudolph the reindeer, Santa, possibly an elf, some snowmen. The problem is there was fog on Christmas Eve and Santa could not drive the sleigh. The sequence of events would be the reindeers made fun of poor Rudolph. He had a bright nose, it made noise. Then Santa asked Rudolph, with his nose so bright, to guide the sleigh. Rudolph saves Christmas, and then the reindeer never laugh at him again. The outcome is Rudolph saves Christmas. The theme would be something like, don't make fun of someone that's different. Asking questions using the story structure model. The story structure questions in the book follow the graphic organizer structure of the story map. We see in our book these story structure questions. We have the setting question, where and when does the story take place? The character question, who's the story about? The main characters. What's the character's description or personality? What's the problem? What's the problem of the story? What did the characters do? What did they want? What are the decisions made? The sequence of events, what does the main character do about the problem? What do the characters try to do? The outcome, how does the story turn out? How does the character solve the problem? The theme can be a little harder. The theme is a little bit of a higher level question. It takes some guidance. What lesson? What lesson did you learn? What is the moral? What is the author trying to say? We can also see these same questions are similar, the story map and the 5 W's. So the standard, I can use the 5 W's and H questions to understand the story, is also a strategy. You've got the who, the why, the what, the when, the where. These were all questions that were in our story structure. RL 2.5 described the overall structure of a story, including the descriptions of how the beginning introduces the story, the events unfold in the story, and in concluding the story. I can ask and answer questions to show details in a text. These are using the 5 W's and H question, but then the strong readers ask questions of why. They want to clarify meaning. We want them to understand and comprehend. We want to ask questions to make predictions. We want to ask questions to understand the main idea. We want to ask questions to understand the purpose and the theme. How questions, asking questions, answering questions, getting our students to provide these answers from the text using these details and going to that higher level of thinking. Reading is thinking. This structure here is similar to the who, what, why, where. Where is the setting? What happened in the beginning, middle, end? These are all strategies you can use for reading comprehension. Before, during, and after reading. Before reading, questions include examining the text. What kind of text is it? Is it a poem? Is it a regular text? Is it a play? The title topic allows for students to connect to prior knowledge. Do you know anything about Rudolph? Or do you know anything about Christmas? This would help our students if they can connect to prior knowledge. Predicting by looking at the cover of the book. During reading, questions can help students focus their attention on the text, help monitor comprehension, and help students identify the key elements of a story map. During questions can be questions like, Why did they make fun of Rudolph? Why did that hurt his feelings? Would that hurt your feelings? What did Santa ask him to do? Why was that useful? After reading questions help students develop that higher order of thinking. This helps discuss and find the story's theme. This can take a little longer. This is definitely a different level of thinking, to think that the theme, to not make fun of someone who's different. What was the author's purpose? Asking questions about a text is something students need explicit instruction on to begin to analyze a story. There are several various techniques, including the story mapping, the 5 W's, questioning before, during, and after, that will help students learn how to ask questions of themselves while they're reading. Students need these experience several styles of techniques modeled by a teacher to understand comprehension questioning strategies. Instructional text, elaborate interrogation. To elaborate in this case is to explain the information from a text and make it personal. Make it easy to remember by personalizing it. Interrogation is a form of questioning. Elaborate interrogation is a complex name for a simple questioning strategy that encourages students to generate a hypothesis as a way to remember facts. This is a very useful idea in math and science that can be conceptually dense. In our book, Forham recommends that teachers ask strategic questions that prompt students to apply their comprehension strategies to make meaning and foster metacognition. The types of teacher questions have different layers. It's very similar to Bloom's and Webb's depth of knowledge. This instructional text can also be a strategy that can be used for before, during, and after reading. Discussion query-oriented instruction. Questioning the author. Approach. This is where the teacher uses queries during reading to keep the text discussion flowing as the students build understanding. This QTA style instructs students to think, question, analyze, associate, and critique what they've read. QTA helps direct discussion approach to develop students' comprehension of ideas in the text. Webb's depth of knowledge and Bloom's taxonomy. Webb's depth of knowledge has 4 levels of increasing complexity for cognitive thought process. Bloom in 1956 developed his original taxonomy classifying levels of thinking and learning, which can guide teachers to develop questions from a low level to a high level, which can be applied to any text. These both require asking questions to help students develop their thinking skills from a basic thinking skills of the story structures to a higher level of complex reasoning.